What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I've got a really exciting video that I've been working on for you, and I've got a lot of other video ideas coming on this, on my TikTok, my Twitter. I've got a bunch of stuff going on there, and I'm really excited for the 2023 season, which is very close to being upon us. So make sure you keep in touch with all my other social medias and let me know maybe some other video ideas that you would like to see. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. And what I'm going to be talking about today is the Bills, the Buffalo Bills. I'm very, very excited for their offense in 2023. I think they're going to be really exciting, and I think they could potentially be the league's best offense in 2023. So let's hop right into that. All right, so as you can hopefully see behind me right now, in 2022, the Bills were the third best offense by EPA per play and the second best offense by points per game. So projecting them to be the league's best offense in 2023 is really not a huge jump from where they were last season. We know they are one of the league's best offenses. They have Josh Allen, who, you know, some people have him lower down in the rankings these days than it was consensus last year, but one of the league's best quarterbacks, one of the league's best offenses. So it's not a huge jump for them to be the league's best offense in 2023. And, you know, I'll talk about the Chiefs in a second because they've been the league's best offense. So, you know, the Bills would sort of be trying to overtake the Chiefs by being the league's best offense. So one of the things we could first look at is the new additions to this Bills offense and what is really going to be separating them from the team that they were last year. They got Damian Harris at running back, who doesn't really move the needle for me in any meaningful way. I don't expect him to be super involved. Right now, he's maybe a little bit injured, so I'm not sure when he's going to be fully healthy. He'll be the early down back in this offense, probably, but, you know, like I said, he's nothing special. He'll get the job done, but, you know, as you would know if you watch the Bills, they're really not a run first team anyways, and if people are going to be right, it's probably going to be Josh Allen or James Cook. So Damian Harris, not a super meaningful addition for this season. Connor McGovern, the offensive guard from the Cowboys, is sort of a meaningful addition in the sense that he will most likely be a starting guard this season, even without injuries to anybody else along the line. And he is not a great player. They gave him decent contract. They tried to upgrade the offensive line, which has been one of their weaknesses over the past couple seasons. He's not a great player, to be honest. He really struggles in run blocking. He's good in pass protection. And, you know, to be honest, I'm just using stats and PFF grades and whatnot to formulate that opinion. I'm not super familiar with him, and I'm not going to act like I've sat there and watched a ton of Dallas Cowboys offensive line film to learn about him. You know, he could be an upgrade along the line, at least another depth piece for them. But the offensive line is still definitely one of the weaknesses of this offense. So maybe he can, you know, step up and be a good player for them. But the main new addition to this offense that I'm super excited about is Dalton Kincaid. I'm very, very excited about him in this offense when the Bills took him. I thought it was a really good pick for them, another dynamic playmaker on this offense. And I'm a really big fan of Dalton Kincaid. After watching his film at Utah, I thought he was really good. I think he's got good hands. He's quick. He's very athletic. He's, you know, more of a receiver than he is a tight end, which I think, you know, makes him a little bit underrated, sort of as an offensive threat. You know, you're coming into the draft, you're always looking at the wide receivers, but I think he can be just as, if not more effective than some of the wide receivers taken in the draft class this year. So one of the other advantages that offers the Bills is being able to play him at a traditional tight end spot, or he can also play in the slot or just out wide as a receiver. So that definitely gives them a little bit more of a dynamic aspect to their offense, where they've got another player who's very good that they can move around. And one of the big things I think he can benefit this offense with is taking attention away from Stefon Diggs. And, you know, if Dalton Kincaid and Gabe Davis and maybe James Cook out of the backfield and get those guys firing, you know, a little bit better this season, take a little bit of the attention away from Stefon Diggs and really allow him to, you know, sort of take advantage of maybe some one-on-one matchups and some less double teams this season. I think that is something that will be really big for the Bills, letting their best receiver, you know, work to the best of his ability and not be totally focused on by opposing defenses. Like I said before, there are definitely some potential issues and areas of concern with this Bills offense, and one of them is the offensive line. PFF and their sort of composite rankings for offensive lines coming into the season have the Bills around 22nd, so, you know, sort of top of the bottom third offensive line, and that's not really a big shift from last year. You know, they were able to be really effective with a weak offensive line in the years past, and Josh Allen, with his big arm and, you know, movement out of the pocket, whatever, his rushing ability has sort of masked a little bit of how weak this offensive line is. I think their lack of effectiveness in the run game, like traditional run game, non-quarterback, has really been sort of a consequence of their weak offensive line. Like I said, they've got McGovern, who's a new piece on this offensive line. Maybe some other guys can take a step forward. You know, I'm not projecting the Bills' offensive line to be very good this season. So that is definitely an area that they've been able to manage decently well, but is definitely one of the areas of concern. Like I put here on the graphic, the Chiefs do still exist. So in order to be the league's top offense, the Bills are going to have to outdo the Chiefs. And I think that one of the things I'll talk about in a second is having sort of a more dynamic offense, giving defenses more looks. And, you know, that's something the Chiefs do a lot. They have a really good schematic offense. So I think if the Bills can sort of move towards that way, they could sort of come close to the Chiefs. But in order for the Bills to be the league's top offense, they're going to have to outdo the Chiefs, which I don't know if that is even possible for them. But I think they might take a step closer to them, at least this season. So I'm very excited about that, but definitely some areas for concern for this Bills offense that I think could come back to bite them and make it so they're not the league's top offense. But I think at the very least, they'll be one of the better offenses in the league, maybe just not the best. So jumping down to the bottom here are the main reasons why I'm excited about this offense in 2023. And 12 personnel, I'm going to come back to as the last one. So the first one is James Cook. I think he was pretty underutilized last season, and he's a really dynamic running back. He had a really high explosive run rate when he was in college, so maybe that is a dynamic, exploring him a little bit more as a rusher. I think that could be really exciting for this Bills offense this season, sort of as a 1-2 punch with Damian Harris. Out of the backfield, I think that could be another sort of dynamic aspect to this offense. Getting James Cook involved in the passing game out of the backfield. Very quick, can break off some long runs. So just getting him more involved, just another year in the league, I think that could be something that's very exciting for this Bills offense in 2023. And then the last point that's there is a healthy Josh Allen. Last year he had that sort of elbow issue, whatever it was, and he was had that sort of stretch of games where he was throwing a lot of interceptions, all those red zone interceptions, and I think that was definitely a bit of a consequence of not being 100% healthy and sort of trying to do too much. So if they just have an overall improved offense this season, maybe Allen doesn't feel like he need to do all that much and sort of play hero ball to win these games, and can sort of, you know, keep up with his running game as well, but also maybe improve as a bit of a pocket passer this season and drop back, you know, let Gabe Davis, let Dalton Kincaid, let Dawson Knox, let Stefon Diggs obviously go to work a bit. So he's going to be 100% healthy coming into the season. So last year, dealing with the injuries, that definitely hindered the Bills offense for a pretty decent chunk of the season. So now that Allen is completely healthy, I think that that's huge for them. I mean, in my personal opinion, a healthy, playing at his ceiling, playing at his best, Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in the league and the closest thing that you can get to Patrick Mahomes. I know it's very popular take these days to have Burrow over Allen as the second best quarterback in the league, and I'm as high on Burrow as just about anybody else, but I do think the rushing ability of Josh Allen, having a stronger arm compared to Joe Burrow, I think makes him just a little bit better when he's playing at his best. Obviously, you know, when he's turning the ball over in the red zone and trying to do too much and getting, you know, being injured, obviously, he's not going to be better than someone like a Joe Burrow, even some other quarterbacks in the league I think you could put above him. But playing at his best, 100% healthy, Josh Allen is definitely the second best quarterback in the league behind Mahomes, in my opinion. So if they're going to have that, the Bills are going to have that for the entirety of the season. That's, of course, something to be excited about. All right, so what you should be seeing on your screen right now is one of the things I want to talk about before, which is the use of 12 personnel in 2023 for the Bills. And I think that can be a really cool new aspect of their offense. And it doesn't necessarily it doesn't just have to be 12 personnel, but just more 2 tight end sets in general. You know, last season they had Dawson Knox, who I think is really solid tight end. They gave him an extension, 3-year contract, I think. So he's going to be around. He's a good player. But last year they had Quentin Morris, who doesn't really move the needle for me as a tight end. So now that they have Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, they have a really good 1-2 punch at tight end. And, you know, as you can see on the screen, the Bills ran 12 personnel at the lowest rate in the entire league last season. So I think that is going to definitely go up. It was the first play of their preseason game. They came out in 12 personnel. And in order to get Kincaid and Dawson Knox on the field, they're going to be running more 2 tight end looks, specifically probably some 12 personnel looks. And I think that could be a totally new aspect to their offense, which is, of course, going to be good. That's, you know, a look that they pretty much didn't run out at all last year. So they can add that to their arsenal of, you know, formations and personnel sets. That's just another thing that defenses really aren't going to be expecting and can give the Bills an advantage in 2023. So you can see at the top here some of the teams that run 12 personnel the most often. And if you look at teams like the Packers and the Chiefs, you know, of course, the Chiefs are probably good out of any personnel set, but the Chiefs run 12 personnel a lot, and they use it really effectively. So the Packers also use 12 personnel pretty effectively, and the Bills, even in their small sample size, use 12 personnel pretty effectively. So as a way to get Dawson Knox and Kincaid both on the field, I expect to see it more from them this season. And like I said, I think it's going to add a different aspect to this offense that I think can really push the effectiveness of their offense, the efficiency of their offense up. And one of the other interesting things that they can do is sort of run a 12 personnel, but non-traditional 12 personnel. You know, Kincaid doesn't necessarily have to be lined up on the line of scrimmage. It's still going to be 12 personnel if they line him up in the slot, move him around. So they definitely have some options here to run 12 personnel in, you know, sort of a traditional sense with 2 down tight ends, or they can give some other looks to defenses as well. So, you know, given the fact that they ran at a league low rate and now they should be using it, you know, we might not see them jump up into the top 5 of how often it's used, but I expect to see them definitely out of the bottom 5, bottom 10 in that this season. And that is what really makes me excited to watch this offense in 2023, is having Knox out there, having Kincaid out there, 2 of, I think, their best players on offense on the field at the same time, giving defenses new looks. That is the reason why I'm really excited for the Bills offense in 2023. The past couple seasons, the Bills have been one of, if not the most favorite team for the Super Bowl, according to sportsbooks out there. And I personally have been sort of fading them from that position. I think they're still one of the top 3 favorites for the Super Bowl this year. And, you know, this entire video is about me being excited for their offense. But I think their biggest question mark the past couple years, and once again going into the season, is their defense, because they have already one of the best offenses in the entire NFL. And I think it's going to get a little bit better next year. So that, I don't think, is what's been holding them back from making it to the Super Bowl. Obviously, having to get past the Chiefs is going to be a big challenge, and the Chiefs are sort of the Bills, but just a little bit better. They have not that great of a defense, even though it was not bad this past season, but yeah, they have a really good quarterback and a really good offense. The Chiefs that I'm talking about, but the Bills sort of fit that same mold of a team. They just don't do it as well as the Chiefs. So I think if the Bills could figure out their defense more so than their offense, which their defense, like I said, I'm more concerned about. I think they could, I mean, they're going to be a Super Bowl contender no matter what this season, but if they want to sort of get over the hump a little bit, you know, beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, whatever, you know, having an improved offense will help. But I think it's important to recognize that their defense is definitely a bigger question mark. And even if their offense improves the way that I think it will, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to make it to win the Super Bowl, anything like that. So also, the AFC East is going to be tougher this season. Now we got Rodgers on the Jets. The Dolphins, you know, maybe the healthy Tua all season. There are definitely some threats to the Bills in the AFC East. So I'm not sure exactly where I stand with the Bills just as a team and how well I think they're going to perform in this next season. I still think that they probably are the favorites to win the AFC East for me. You know, I'm pretty bullish on the Dolphins as well this season. So I'm going to be probably doing a full record predictions video soon. But I just wanted to throw that at the end of the video that, you know, I'm not necessarily saying that the Bills will win the Super Bowl or anything this upcoming season. I just think their offense is going to be really exciting and that it should be an improvement from last season. But yeah, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Maybe some other video ideas or what you think about the Bills offense going into 2023. And I'll be back with some other videos soon. So thank you for watching.